begin. Our next speaker is here. His name is Aiden, and he is from Oceana. So he is the sourcing and enablement manager for Oceana. So Aiden, please, if you can just unmute so that you can get on with the presentation. Thank you so much for coming, Aiden, today.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Aiden Vermeulen, and I work for a company called Oceana Group. I'm sure you have heard of them. If you have not, just to give you an idea, we are the biggest fishing company in the country, also biggest in Africa. We do predominantly anchovy, pilchard, hake, and other whitefish components. We also are a big player in the fish meal market. Maybe just a little bit of background. I work in the procurement team. So we have recently centralized our procurement department. For many years, we've operated a silo, or I would say a disconnected procurement department, where we have many divisions operating on their own individually, making their own buying decisions, who to buy from, what to buy, how much to buy. So in 2015, the company decided to do an actual centralization of the procurement team, which was fantastic because now we focused on bringing everything together, putting all heads together in the company and embarking on this journey of finding synergies across the board to get value out of it. But I think just to go a step back, perhaps, and to just fit in with the agenda, of course, as I've mentioned, Oceana Group, quite a big fishing company. We are 100 years old. We have been in South Africa, as you can imagine, since 1920, 1919 to be precise. We started as a company on the West Coast in St. Helena Bay and in Lambert's Bay as a small fishing business. And we have grown into a 6-7 billion rand company today. More about myself and the team. I'm trying to just show you a picture that I'm trying to share on the screen. It's not currently allowing me to do so. As soon as it is up and running, I'll show you guys. Maybe just give me a second quickly. So I don't know if you can see it in the background. I'm sure you can. These are one of the vessels that we've got in the fleet. This is based in the Cape Town dry dock. This vessel had a refit. This is quite some time back. That's of course myself. 2013, of course. So this has been 7 years already. But this is pretty much what you are looking at when you are speaking about Oceana. These are the size vessels that we've got. And since then, I've moved away from the buying team, of course. I form part of the new centralized team that I just spoke to you about. And in this team, predominantly, we've got category managers. We've got sourcing managers as well. We focus on the big spend items within the business, which is other than your raw materials, which is the actual fish that we catch in the waters. And maybe to give you an idea what some of these categories are, we're talking about logistics, we're talking about IT equipment, because there's a lot of sophisticated electronic equipment on the vessels. We're talking about fishing equipment, for instance, the nets, the cables, and everything that goes around catching the fish. We're also talking about fuel that goes into the vessels. We're talking about oils. We're talking about food, because some of these vessels goes out to sea 60 to 70 days, and people need to eat, of course. People get hungry. There are 50, 60, up to 120 people on these vessels, and they obviously need to be looked after. So that's just to give you a rough idea of what the operations predominantly is like. Very busy, big vessels in a nutshell. Maybe just to give you an overview of what we offer. I'm sure all of you have heard of Lucky Star, which is our famous Lucky Star brand, your canned pilchards, your canned tuna. And that's one of the biggest divisions within our group. Amongst that, we've got the division which owns the vessel behind you or behind me. Blue Continent Products, it's a whitefish company. They offer hake, they offer horse mackerel, they offer fish meal as well. And this product predominantly gets exported, unlike your Lucky Star canned fish that you can get in your Checkers, Pick and Pay and so on. This product predominantly gets sold abroad in Spain, Portugal, where whitefish dominates predominantly. Anything else that I think we need to add in terms of our business offering? Well, as you've picked up, 95% of the product that we sell gets exported. Only 5% of the product that we sell is in the local market. And again, that's predominantly your Lucky Star cans. If I look at how we can assist SME businesses moving forward, maybe just to give you an idea, our registration process is actually very simple. You get to speak to a procurement person. You tell us more about your company, what you do, what you offer, your previous experience, if there's any synergies or projects that you've worked on that you feel could be of benefit to us as a company. You contact us directly. You can speak to our switchboard. They will put you in contact with someone who is taking care of the category that you fall under. And definitely the process moving forward will be quite easy. We embark on tenders, we do RFQ processes, and we do just a full assessment. If it's a very technical area that we need to do a little bit more research in, we do that along with you as the supplier, and we try and see if we can load you guys. And maybe just in terms of the process itself, quite an easy process. We've got a set of supplier documentation that we complete. In that documentation, you tell us about your company, you tell us a bit about your finances as well. It's always important to make sure that you're getting to bed with the right company that is financially sound to do business with. So we understand SMEs, not always the biggest in terms of bank accounts, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't look at how much money you're making. We're just trying to see whether your cash flow is healthy and whether, again, your company is financially sound to do business with. Because as you can imagine, we purchase goods that are quite expensive, and it's important to know that your suppliers can handle should there be a big purchase that needs to be conducted. Again, myself, in our team, there's also 3 other category managers, and between the 4 of us, we pretty much look after the bulk of the spend in terms of category within Oceana. Myself, I predominantly look at vessel specialized services. I look at fishing gear. I look at oils and lubrications. I look at IT. I look at chemical supply, and that entails all types of chemicals, whether it is for cleaning, for water treatment, or for chemicals used inside, outside of the vessel as well. Then also, of course, I look after staff messing and teas, which is also referred to as provisions. So for instance, we've got a canteen within our building that services about 400 people with food on a daily basis. So if you are a supplier that sells food, cleaning chemicals, beverages, whatever that may be, I'm the go-to guy in that case as well. My other colleagues, of course, they look after some interesting categories as well. For instance, Kurt Adams, he looks after freight, that is sea, air, land. He looks after packaging, transport, logistics. He looks at material handling equipment, warehousing, production ingredients. Nabuhle Sabia, also another colleague of mine, she looks after facilities management, hygiene and security services, electrical maintenance, waste management, professional services, quality assurance, HR services, then also coal. And then our last colleague, Tracy Habelgarn, she looks after fuel, events, conferences, furniture, health and safety, insurance services, stationery, travel, and fleet management. So that's just some of the major components that we do offer within our business, or that we look after. And I must say, we love SMEs. We love small suppliers. We like developing them as well. And I myself have been involved with a number of projects where we, for instance, one of my fishing gear suppliers, or 2 of them, are actually just women-owned suppliers. Both companies based in the West Coast. They are repairing all the nets on all our fishing vessels. So that's something that I must say is one of the flagship projects that I've personally been involved in within the last 4 years of being in this team. and it has really had its benefits to this point. Just to add to that, maybe engaging with us as a partner. Well, we do assist SMEs, as I've mentioned. We try and see whether we can become a partner more than just being a business relationship orientated. We want to see if we can grow together. We obviously need to improve our BEE spend, but more importantly, we also love giving back to the community. And that's something that we really value high at Oceana. Maybe just to give you a brief overview of the process that we follow when we do look at SMEs. Firstly, like I said, we send out the scope. We look at an RFP or an RFQ. We ask you guys to come back to us to say you are interested, give you more time to come back to us to give us a proposal. Once you have been successful in your proposal, we evaluate, we shortlist, and we provide a recommendation paper within our business to our management team so that we can put forward an assessment where we show them that why we need to load you as a supplier should you be successful within the process. Business support offered to SMEs. Well, at Oceana, vendors are evaluated against other vendors, of course, to similar size. So we do not compare you to a bigger apple, to put it to you like that, so that everyone gets a fair chance to be evaluated. BEE weighting on all of our RFPs is 20%, sometimes 25% of the overall weighting. So it obviously does play a big part and a big role. And also we assist all our EME and QSE suppliers with better payment terms, purchasing of equipment, doing it smarter. We have interest-free loans at times if we do feel there's a need to embark on that journey. We also offer business support and advice and any other needs that we identify through the collaboration process with our enterprise development division. So we are quite involved, and we involve the right parties to assist us to make sure that we, of course, get the full benefit out of joining and partnering with an SME company. If I look at any tips that we can offer in terms of our tendering process, I always tell people the thing to keep in mind is that sometimes we do get a lot of offers. There's a lot of suppliers that wants to get feedback back and that wants to be successful. But at the end of the day, we only have so much of the pie to give away. But in order for you to be prepared, I think it's always important to ask questions. Let me not say the right questions. I don't think there's something as a dumb question. Ask as much questions as possible. Try and at least know what you need to quote for so that you know that you stand a better chance than someone else. And also, we always try and split the pie. We do not feel there is always a focus or need to put all your eggs in one basket. Dependent on the risk and the value of the category and the importance of the category in the business, that determines also how many suppliers we use. I think I've said a mouthful. This is the first time that I've done a session like this. My colleagues normally does this, but I think it's a good time at this point in time to open up the floor for any questions. If there's anything that you feel didn't come through in what I said, please feel free to raise your hand or perhaps divert your questions to the chairman.
Thank you so much, Aidan, for that detailed presentation. I'm sure everyone will agree with me that it was so informative. So whilst we're waiting for questions, maybe just from my side. So what would you say are the top 3 spend areas currently at Oceana at the moment?
The top 3 spend is definitely logistics. We do move a lot of product across the country and overseas as well. So in other words, containers, shipping, air freight as well. For instance, the lobster, you're all familiar with lobster. It goes via air freight because it needs to get there quite quickly. It needs to be alive when it gets in China because the Chinese loves their lobster alive for whatever reason. Number 2, the second biggest category is fuel. So as you can imagine, these ships are quite big, so they need to be filled up regularly. And to give you an idea, we spend over 250 million on fuel alone per annum on our ships. The third biggest category, I would say, is probably your oils, which is hand in hand with fuel. But I think maybe I can mention a fourth one. Provisions is also a very big one. We spend about 30 million rand a year on food because, as I mentioned, people need to eat. The ships goes to sea for quite long. And a lot of these crew members, some of them are from Russia. Most of them are from South Africa. But they do have their favorite foods. They are very finicky about the type of meat that they eat. They're very finicky about the type of chips, protein, and beverages that they get in. So that's probably for me, and I think at Oceana, one of the biggest categories.
Okay, thank you so much, Aiden, for that. We've got a question from Rebecca. She wants to know if you deal with recruitment agencies when recruiting employees.
Very good question. Yes, we do. We do not have any preference. Maybe to answer your question like that, there's no favorite recruitment agency that we do use, but we dealing with recruitment agencies when especially if you are targeting your high-end positions. So I'm referring to your more executive and managerial roles. I think if it's just maybe a position on one of the ships, for instance, if you want to go to sea, you don't really have to contact your a recruitment agency to work with Oceana. You can contact us directly. We put you in contact with the HR department that does recruiting for the vessels. But more specifically, yes, for managerial executive roles, we do recruit via recruitment agencies.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope that answers your question, Rebecca. We also have a question from Prudence, and she wants to know if you have tenders for marketing and advertising agencies.
Very interesting category that we have, but we have not done a tender in this area yet. I do not want to say because the spend is so low, but I think probably because of we haven't prioritized this category over the last few years to the extent where we have done a tender. I think a lot of the work that was done in this space was done more in a ad hoc basis and because of past experience on certain projects. But yes, to answer your question, we will certainly do tenders within the marketing and advertising space.
Okay, thank you so much, Eden. The next one is, it's a request. Sorry, it's actually Paul asking if you can share your supplier database platform details.
So what I can do is, we do not have a supplier database platform detail to put it to you like that. What we like doing is we've got a preferred list, but that list is not a set list. That list can change at any point in time. What I can do is I can share with you our supplier application forms so that you can complete it, give us a profile of your company, submit it to us. We will have a look at it, set up a meeting with you, and then we will take that discussion forward.
Okay,
and you've got my contact details. You're welcome to share it with everyone as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Aiden. We'll definitely do that after this presentation. Then also from Samuel, he says okay, sorry, the questions are moving as people are typing. So his first question was, do you purchase containers? If yes, which sizes and how often?
No, that's the short answer to your question. We do not purchase containers. In fact, we do not own any. What we have is rental agreements with companies that do own containers, because look, we don't really store the product within the containers. One company I did not mention in the outset is Commercial Cold Storage, CCS. For the last 20-30 years, it has been the biggest cold chain within the country. So we do also own our own cold infrastructure to keep our own product cold. And therefore, there's no real need for us to own any trucks even to that extent, because a lot of the product is kept within our premises on our cold stores, and we move it as quickly as possible at the customer's convenience.
Okay, thank you so much. Samuel, I see Samuel has another question on logistics and how you transport your products on land. Samuel, maybe you can just unmute and just explain your question further. Samuel, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. No, I was asking about opportunities on land. If they're using trucks, what kind of transportation are they using on land? If trucks, which trucks, and how often? If they've got contracts, when are they expiring? And opportunities within basically transporting their product within land or on land. Sorry.
Yeah, so thank you for that question. Very good question. We do utilize trucks. We do not own any of the trucks. We have rental agreements in place with a few transport companies. Predominantly, we use taut liners, and that is predominantly for the Lucky Star product, and then also for frozen fish. Those contracts run for 2 to 3 years. I recently, it's my colleague's category, but I know recently that they have renewed the deal for a further 3 years, but that was the beginning of this year. So that deal is probably only expiring within 2023. But in that same breath, we always look at additional options and pricing and whatever suppliers approaches us in this space, because there's just so many competition that we know we can also utilize your services elsewhere within the country. So I would be more than happy to set you up with my colleague to maybe further this discussion as well.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Aiden, for that. I hope, Samuel, you've been answered. We have Etienne. His question is, who's the best person to contact? They offer procurement, transformation, consulting, and e-procurement IT solutions. So he just wants to know who the right person to contact is.
So the best person to chat to with regards to this in particular would probably be my boss, which is the CPO of Oceana, the Group Procurement Officer. And he's also got an extensive background within the IT sector. He has been the CIO of a few companies. So he's got that hat of a procurement and IT person on. So he would be the best person to speak to. His name is Rafiq Jassim, and we would be welcome to send you his details as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Aiden. I will provide Etienne's details, and then we can facilitate a meeting from there. Okay, the next question is from Paul. She or he says, we are on hazardous waste solution space, environmental solutions, any opportunities on that?
Actually, I see it's the last question for now, but it's a very good question, and you're actually speaking to the right person today. I'm not normally the person who looks after waste as a category, but I am involved in a project where there is some waste that needs to be removed off-site, asbestos roof, quite a few square meters of it. It's based in the West Coast. So I would like to actually take this conversation further with you, Paul. And yeah, let's see. I need a quotation obviously on that, but let's see where we can go with that discussion.
Okay, thank you so much, Aiden. So we'll also provide post details, and then we can set up a meeting. Another question is from Fifi. So she's asking on PPE procurement spend and any current opportunities. They specialize in PPE for specialized industries.
Your question comes actually at the right time. I just need to find out that it's not too late, but we actually have a current PPE tender in the market. Also, my colleague Tracy Habel-Garen, who's running with that. Yes, we do have quite a big spend on PPE because, again, our vessels and our land-based factories, all these employees need safety boots, overalls, reflective vests, hard hats, goggles, you name it. We spend quite a bit in this space, more than 10 million per annum, definitely. So yeah, I think I need to put you into contact with my colleague, chat to her. I hope there's still time to maybe include you within that evaluation of those proposals as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Aiden. I'll also just chat with you on that so that we can get the contacts for Tracy. Then Fifi can send her details as soon as possible for that tender. I'm just going to check if there, I don't see any more questions. Are there any questions before I just close this session? Okay, it looks like most of, oh, okay, there's a message that just popped. Okay, this is just someone wants to be included, but thank you so much, Aiden, for such a lovely presentation and also for just answering all the questions. Do you have any closing remarks for the SMMEs that are on this platform today?
Yeah, I think it's important to note that the bigger companies, it doesn't always look like they want to give, and I'm speaking only for Oceana, of course. It doesn't always appear to be that they are prioritizing SMEs, but I think it's important to note that here at Oceana especially, we do prioritize SMME companies. We always try and slot them in. We always feel that it's important for the sustainability of this economy in our country especially, that we create more jobs and give businesses to SMME. So I think my closing comments would be not to tire out, to keep on pressing, even if you're not successful. Even at Oceana, you will be successful eventually. And I think that's something that we look forward in getting more and more involved in as procurement persons as well. We definitely want to work with SMMEs more. So thank you for allowing me to chat to you guys today. And if there's any questions, please let me know. I will put you into contact with the right people to speak to in terms of the categories that you cater for, so that you can have further discussions with our teams. Tracy does manage the health and safety as well, 100%. I saw that question, Lucas.
Okay, thank you so much, Aiden. That was very insightful. This is the end of our supply matrix for this month. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we have these sessions every month. We normally just advise on the program just a week or two before the session. So please just look out for those emails where we'll just give you the program with a list of buyers that will participate. So thank you so much for your patience and also for just being here today. Also, we have our Smart Exchange platform. We've sent information on that on email. So please just register. This is a platform where you can also link with buyers. You can request one-on-one meetings with them. So please just make sure that your profile is complete, and also you can post your opportunities, your services in the opportunities tab. So if anyone wants any help with that, I am very open to helping them. So you can just contact me. I'm going to put my details on the chat, so you can contact me and I can help you with that. And also, if anyone wants to meet any buyer from any company, please just send me an email and then I can try and facilitate those meetings on your behalf. Thank you so much.